young, but Gen Z is already exhausted. The old Gen Zers aren't even 30 yet, but they've already reached burnout far beyond their years.
They don't like Gen Z in the workplace is because we know how to have a job without making it our entire personality.
Gen Z will literally go the farthest just to not conform to society standards, and I'm loving it. So many boomers today will say to you, work hard and you'll get everything you want in life. Go to school, go to college, get a degree, go to your 9 to 5, sit in traffic, and go home, get ready for bed, and do the same thing all over again for 40 years, and you'll finally be happy.
You know, the more I watch videos like this, the more I'm actually proud that Gen Z is really waking up to the reality of what this life contains. A 9 to 5 work week that was looked at one point as the crowning jewel of the economy, the crowning jewel of what life really means. You work your 9 to 5 work week, you go home, you have your home all to yourself, the white picket fence, you have a family, and then you go back and keep doing it over and over again. However, the problem with that dream is it's becoming more of a nightmare as the cost of living rises. The jobs don't pay anywhere near what they used to in terms of the inflation-adjusted average wages that we have now. And they're also starting to realize they don't want to be squeezed for everything they can, including time. Time is the most valuable resource on this planet, this temporary life we have right now, and that may be all there is. So why commit yourself your entire life to a company that doesn't matter and it doesn't care about you at the end of the day? They will replace you with AI if they want to at this point. Everyone knows that these are discussions being had at massive corporations and boardrooms all around the world. So with that being said, we're going to dive into this today, but also I want to let you guys know that about 60 to 70% of you who come back to the channel, watch more content, are not yet subscribed. So if you find yourself coming back and enjoying more content, please hit that subscribe button. Really would help the channel out. And with that being said, let's dive into it today.
Gen Z will literally go the farthest just to not conform to society standards, and I'm loving it. So many boomers today will say to you, work hard and you'll get everything you want in life. Go to school, go to college, get a degree, go to your 9 to 5, sit in traffic, and go home, get ready for bed, and do the same thing all over again for 40 years, and you'll finally be happy. But we don't want that. We want the financial flexibility to have the time to do literally whatever we want in life and not have to give our time away to another employer. We'll literally do anything to avoid the 9 to 5 lifestyle, because at the end of the day, it just burns you out, it makes you depressed, and you're working with people you don't even like. You mean to tell me I gotta spend 80% of my day around people that I do not like? I have to sit at a desk for literally 8 hours every single day, and then I finally get to go home at 6 o'clock after sitting in traffic and then spend time with my family? Yeah, I'm good. The sooner you realize the time you're giving away to these employers is more precious than the money you're earning itself, the better. Gen Z is realizing that today, and that's what I love about them.
And I think a lot of people are coming to this realization, especially after the pandemic, because that really woke a lot of people up to how insane it is that we dedicate so much time to a place that ultimately doesn't care about you. We were working from home and then we were forced to go back to the office because apparently it raises productivity, even though they've done some studies to prove that actually wasn't the case at all. It didn't improve any sort of productivity at all. So why do we have to go to these prison cells? And that's what I'm calling them if they're not paying you enough to live, to spend a huge amount of our time in life. And I like that people are finally waking up to this crap.
Young, but Gen Z is already exhausted. The old Gen Zers aren't even 30 yet, but they've already reached burnout far beyond their years, which is not exactly surprising. They've never known a world that was not in an advanced stage of collapse. Anyway, here are just a few of the things that Gen Z is already burned out on. Trying to save money. No surprise here. They've never known an economy that was not in a shambles. We don't really need to elaborate on this one. Then there's combating disrespect because of their age. Ageism definitely goes both ways, and you certainly don't need to tell lazy, entitled, demanding Gen Z that. And the stigma is costing them opportunities in a real way. Speaking of which, finding a secure job. The broken economy and job market have already made this difficult, but AI is only stiffening the competition. Maintaining a healthy balance with screen time is another thing exhausting Gen Z, which is probably a huge part of their burnout in and of itself, but who among us is good at managing this, regardless of our age? And all this stuff is happening while safe, affordable community spaces are increasingly becoming a thing of the past. When it costs a minimum of $10 just to go have a coffee and a muffin, it becomes really hard to maintain social connections. And then there's working overtime and long hours, which once again, who among us? And Gen Zers are often among those being paid the least while working the most. And finally, keeping up with news and politics. Yeah, you might say the 24/7 news cycle of crisis and collapse is a little hard on the old brain, for all of us, regardless of age. But it's perhaps especially so for young people who are among the most engaged among us. It's important to remember that everything is cyclical, and these difficult times will turn around soon. But until then, it's equally important to remember not to let your dedication to the fight burn you out. It's not just okay to take breaks, it's a necessity.
That's a really well-worded piece of advice right there. It's a necessity for people to take breaks, especially at jobs that are already draining you of all your time. Because that's really what it is, just a drain on your time.
Gen Z in the workplace is not what corporate expected. And honestly, I am completely here for it. Let me tell you about Gen Z in the workplace, because corporate thought they were going to get another generation of obedient workers. And they got chaos agents instead. Corporate says, we need you back in the office for collaboration. Gen Z's like, I collaborate fine from my house. Thank you, though. Corporate says dress code is business casual, and Gen Z shows up in Crocs and a hoodie and says, this is business casual. It's 2026. Corporate says we need this by the end of the day, and Gen Z says, no, you don't. You don't need it till next Tuesday because I checked the deadline, so stop lying. Corporate says, can you work late tonight? And Gen Z's like, yeah, I can, but I won't because I have therapy at 5, and unlike you, I actually go. Corporate says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And Gen Z's like, not here. Next question. And here's the thing. Gen Z's workplace behavior is driving HR absolutely insane. But you know what they're doing? They're saying out loud what Gen X has been thinking for 30 years. They just don't care about the consequences yet. And honestly, good for them. Corporate spent decades convincing us loyalty mattered. Gen Z showed up and said, prove it. And corporate can't. So now they're scrambling. Why don't they want to stay? Why don't they care about the company culture? Why are they so entitled? They're not entitled. They just watched us get laid off after 20 years of loyalty and said, yep, not doing that. Gen Z workplace energy is exactly what corporate deserves. They said obsolete. We said watch this. See you there.
That's exactly what happened. Especially when you witness your parents get laid off and replaced with a cheaper labor force. We've seen our parents' generation get crushed by corporate culture, but you can honestly say at least they benefited to a certain extent, right? Like the older generations were able to at least afford homes. Gen Z, there's no prospect of that at all. So why would they dedicate their entire lives to corporations?
Oh, and don't shoot the messenger, but okay. I don't know if this is a controversial take or not, but I think Gen Z being so quick to get so angry about everything is making public figures desensitized to being canceled. Nobody really cares anymore because you can't really tell the difference between like, oh, blah, 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 they're just crying about nothing, and like an actual serious issue that we should be mad at. And so people are like, I'm just going to ignore the comments. I don't care. Like people are so used to getting called out and getting criticized for everything, and everything is being called problematic. There's like no scale. People get just as mad about a small thing as they do about a really big thing. And it kind of depends on the person and the day and the news cycle and stuff that now people are desensitized to being canceled. People don't care. Like your comments mean nothing to them. And I say this as a content creator who like has been affected by comments before, and I'm like, it'll blow over in a week. Like, who cares? You know, like people don't care anymore because y'all get so mad about everything, and then it doesn't hurt their pockets. Nobody stops supporting them for real. They don't stop booking jobs. And attention is currency in today's day and age because of social media. So like, it doesn't really matter if you're mad or not. If you're paying attention, they still get paid. So it's like, people don't care anymore.
I think that's probably the last thing on Gen Z's mind anyways, right? It's just cancel culture. Who cares if we can't afford to live? And I think it's good trying to take your power back because at the end of the day, they're the new generation entering the workforce and they matter more than anyone else right now. And hopefully they can change the way that everything is run in this world. But ultimately that might be too big of a task. But at the end of the day, I think they're really onto something.
They don't like Gen Z in the workplace is because we know how to have a job without making it our entire personality. We will not break our back and shorten our lifespan for our job because our job is our life. Instead, we want a life, and we understand that a job just has to be a part of it if we want to survive. I think the level of freedom this mindset avails us in the relationship we have with work and the effort we're willing to give towards work makes a lot of people very upset and even envious of us in the workplace without even realizing it. For most generations before us, the plan was simple and well supported. Grow up, get educated, get a job. But as Gen Z aged up enough to enter the upper level workforce, a harsh reality was set out before them. The job market no longer was what it used to be. Monies didn't spend how they used to spend, and salaries no longer added up what they used to. The acquisition of your own property through things like houses is a dream that seems to get further and further from the grasps of most Gen Z daily. We learned very quickly that even if we wanted to invest our entire lives into our work and our job, there might not even be a job or work to do that with. And even if you have a job or work, security in jobs is not what it used to be. We've seen how past generations have burnt themselves out for a company that would walk over their dead body to hand their replacement a hiring contract. These realities shape our behaviors in the workplace, and that's exactly what makes me say,
I honestly think that we could be headed to a stage where we have more entrepreneurs building new businesses, a new society in the future that benefits the workers more, and at the end of the day leads to more freedom in every aspect of your life. But I honestly wish Gen Z the best because they're in a tough spot right now, and I hope they power through it and find meaning in this horrible life, especially a horrible life that involves jobs that drain you for everything you have. Leave your thoughts about this video down below in the comment section, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.